Hello, this is James with CoinOpTV playing the new PC early access game Airheart. This is a top-down twin-stick shooter from Blind Flug Studios. And I'll have to admit up front that I'm not very good at the twin-stick shooter genre, which actually works out pretty well for me because this one's a little bit more relaxed, a little more tactical rather than twitchy like you would expect from games in this field. Things like Geometry Wars or Helldivers where bullets are flying in every direction, you have to be constantly dodging and aware of everything going on, whereas in this game there are far fewer enemies on the screen at a time, and you might even end up with no enemies on the screen at a time. Now that isn't to say it can't get hectic. As you get higher up in the game, you fly to higher levels, you will find more and more enemies shooting more and more bullets. So there is that gameplay for people who prefer the more intense versions of this genre, but you have to dig a little bit before you get there, so that might not be to everybody's taste. Now that said, the main draw of this game isn't actually going to be the twitchy twin stick shooting, it's more the RPG elements to this game. So you're collecting two different resources here, oil, which comes from either the oil barrels that you see or from fish, which somehow generate oil. I'm not sure how you're getting gasoline out of fish oil, but whatever, we'll go with it. And then the other resource are going to be blueprints, which you'll pick up, which will allow you to craft new items for your plane. And of course, they're going to be random drops, so you don't really have too much control over what you're going to get. However, you can expect that higher level zones will have better loot than lower level zones. It just makes sense. Now, you can choose to buy lower tier gear directly from the shop, which is a nice little feature and will give you the ability to kind of customize your plane even if you haven't done too much yet. Now, one of the things you got to keep in mind though is you have to return to your base in order to get these items, and that's what I'm going to do right now. And one of the cool things about this is the higher up you go, the farther down you have to travel, which makes sense. And there are obstacles in the way, and if you hit enough of them you will be destroyed, which will cause you to lose all of the loot that you picked up in this level. And additionally, if you get destroyed, you still have to make this journey down and still hit this target, but you won't be guided to it. Now here you can see the items that I picked up, and we'll go over to the workbench where all of these items are collected, and you can see what I've got. The ones that are colored in are ones I've already built. The ones in sepia tones are one waiting to be built once I get enough construction parts and or money. As you can see, I could build this one because I have 6 of it and need 4, but it's not a weapon that I enjoy using, so I'm not going to bother. You can see some of the higher level weapons here as well, the dual lancer, the mini nuke, and so on. In addition to weapons, you also have parts for your planes, which are going to be wings, cockpit, and chassis. Or sorry, engine, not cockpit. And you can see I've already built one set of wings. There's the default wings, and then there's the special wings, which are right there. And I had 3 turret options, including the default. And as you go through the games, you'll get new items, more and more items, which will let you choose and customize the play style of the game to your preferences. And now, as you can see, I'm kind of chasing after some fish right now. At the beginning of each level, it tells you how many fish are available in the level relative to the maximum amount. And you will fish up a certain amount per level based on what you want to do, and it will automatically regenerate 30% of the remaining fish each time you play. Now keep in mind that is the remaining fish, not the maximum fish, so it is very possible that if you overfish, it could take a long time for specific levels to recover. Also keep in mind that the fish can be shot by you or the enemies, so it's not simply a matter of staying out of their way, you actually have to make sure that they don't get shot as well. Now, as you can see, that even though this is a more relaxed game, it certainly does get hectic at times, as I've had to fight multiple planes off here at the moment, and I'm taking some damage, shooting them down as best I can, picking up the loot, getting some new blueprints, all sorts of fun stuff. There are a couple of stationary targets, like that turret I just took out, he had an item, and then there are also guys who have crates. There's one right there, actually, which give special weapons. And those special weapons are temporary, but they are actual weapons that you can construct using material later in the game. So this is a great way of testing out random items. And in this case, I got the mini nuke, which is the best weapon in the game, at least as far as I know, in terms of pure damage. But I've got to admit, I'm not overly impressed. It's very, very slow to fire. and even though it's got a blast radius, I just shot myself down using it. So I did more damage to myself with it than I did to the bad guys. And now you can see this is what happens when you get shot down. I still have to hit that blue target there, but I don't have any guidance the way I do if I normally come down. And I lost all the items that I had picked up. And interestingly enough, it considered me having the mini nuke equipped, so I got salvage for the mini nuke, which I think is probably an oversight by the developers. I don't think that's supposed to happen. But now I have 6 pieces of salvage for this, which is 4 short of the 10 I need. But at some point I will be able to create those on my own. And you can see the wing got destroyed. Fortunately, I've got the parts for the wing, so I can go ahead and reconstruct it immediately. But if I didn't, I would have lost that wing. Now, you can't lose the basic ones that you start the game with, so even if you destroy everything else, you will at least have the basic plane. And I'm using the starting turret in this case to illustrate one other cool thing about this game, which is recoil. As you fire these weapons, your plane will react by either slowing down or going in the opposite direction based on what weapon you're firing. Now, the one I was using before had very little recoil, so you couldn't really tell. But as you can see from me firing this one, my plane is twitching. If I fire it directly in front of me, it will slow me down. If I fire it directly aft, it will actually give me a short jump forward, which is a cool little touch. This is not something you normally see in this genre. The shotgun that I have for my forward-facing weapon likewise kicks me back. It actually causes the entire plane to do a mini twist in the air, which is pretty nifty. And again, some weapons are going to have more recoil and some weapons will have less. You can actually use this tactically. You can use one with a lot of recoil to push you in a direction to evade a shot or a missile or something like that, which, you know, is something you got to factor when you pick out which weapon you're going to use. Now you can see it's also obviously the basic level weapon. It's like using a pistol in a first-person shooter. You can certainly shoot planes down with it, but it's a lot harder than using some of the more specialized weapons that you can pick up later in the game. And I am getting surrounded and I keep running into these things, so this might end badly. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Yeah, this is going badly. This was Airheart by Blind Flug Studios. It is available on Steam as part of Early Access, and as with any Early Access title, you should be cautious with buying it. However, there has been at least one content patch for this game already released. Thank you guys for watching. This has been James for CoinOpTV. We hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good rest of your day.